One of the biggest issues that I see happening out there every day among all businesses, both B2B as well as B2C, is price pressure. Is the fact that competition is working so hard to beat you up that a lot of times they just rely on pushing prices down, and then what happens? The customer asks you to push your price down. And so price pressure becomes a very, very ugly problem because obviously when you have to push your prices down, your margins go down. Hey, this is Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad and marketing gunslinger. Welcome to another weekly Uncopyable Business video. And I think this is episode number 96. So, wow, we're pushing the century mark. So thanks for joining me today. So let's talk about price pressure for just a second. Now, obviously, it's very clear to all of us that the bottom line is that the reason why we have price pressure from both the competition as well as our customers is because the perception from the customer base is that there's no other difference between us and our competition. So in other words, the products that we are delivering, the services that we are delivering, the service behind the sale that we are delivering, all of those things that we are delivering in their minds are pretty darn equal. And as a result, the only differentiation is going to be price. And none of us want that to happen. So why is that true? Well, one of the things is that you can ask yourself the question, you might say, gosh, we are different. We're far superior to the competition. Why don't they understand that? Well, let's remember one thing. Number one, it's not their job to understand that. It's your job to educate them to understand that. And if you are using the same terminology, for example, that your competition has. So, for example, one thing that I hear all the time, you've heard me beat this drum a lot. One thing I hear all the time, and I see on everybody's websites, is that you provide the best customer service. So what? What does that mean? It's not a meaningful specific. It doesn't tell me specifically what you mean by delivering the best customer service. I talked about that a couple of weeks ago when I was referring to, or was it last? Okay, I think it was a couple of weeks ago when I was referring to Gallery Furniture's the difference between customer service and customer experience. If you haven't watched that, you should go back and watch that. And if you are not helping the customer to understand why you are superior, specifically why you are superior, then, well, there's no reason for them to think otherwise. And they will always ask you for a lower price. Now, let me show you exactly. Let's put it to you from the perspective of the customer. So here's an exercise that I talk about in my book Uncopyable: How to Get how to create an unfair advantage over your competition, which did, yes, go to number 1 on Amazon. And if you have not read that book, you are making a mistake because it's easy reading. It is really helped a lot of people, a lot of companies over the years. And I want to talk about one of the things that I share in there about an exercise that you can do that will help you to better understand the perception of the customer. So it's the old Benjamin Franklin method. Okay, get out a piece of paper, draw your lines like this. You're going to have you on one side of the line, and then you're going to have the evil empire, your top competitors on the other side of the line. And then what you want to do is you want to go down this list, and you're going to list all the reasons why somebody should do business with you. All right, you go through there and you list all of those. And then you're going to go over and you're going to say, all right, what are the reasons why the evil empire says people should do business with them? And you list those. All right. And what ends up happening now is you then go back. I'm going to change color here to I'll just change it to black. And then you go back and you say, okay, which are the same on both sides. So like, let's say for example, we say, all right, this one is the same as this one over here. And this one is the same as this one over here. And this one is the same as this one over here. And maybe then you find you get to a point where you say, guess what? This one is the same as this one over here. Now, hopefully, you will end up having something that is standalone by itself. And if you do, and you can clearly delineate that to your client base, then that's what you want to focus on, is that difference between you and the competition. Not just that you're better than the competition, but a difference between you and the competition and why they should do business with you. And think in terms of meaningful specifics versus vague generalities. Again, saying that you have the best customer service, because I guarantee you both sides of this chart here have the phrase best customer service, because they say it and you say it. So what you want to do though is, let's say that you let's say that there is, let me do it this way. Let me erase this. Let's say that you end up figuring out that, guess what? From the customer's perspective, there really is no perspective of difference. Then it is up to you to find one. It is up to you to find one that you already have, or to create one that you don't have yet, that differentiates you from the competition. And it's something that is meaningful, it is relevant, and it is valuable to your customer base. Now, if you don't know how to go about doing that, then again, I'm going to tell you, the first thing you should do is go get my book, buy it and read it. It's fast reading. You will be glad you did that, and that will give you a head start into thinking about how you can separate yourself from the competition. Because until you do, then you are going to have, you are going to always have price pressure. All right. And it's because they see you as the same. And we don't want price pressure, do we? This is Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad and marketing gunslinger. I hope that was helpful for you. Think about it. Help separate yourself from the competition. Go buy my book, and I'll see you again next week on my Uncopyable Business video. Thanks for joining me.